When the DCF investigator fails to reach out to collaterals in a DCF investigation and it's supported in Massachusetts, what steps can you take? First and foremost, whenever a decision is supported against you, immediately file for a fair hearing. And you do that by filing with the DCF, Department of Children and Families, Fair Hearing Unit, 600 Washington Street, 5th floor, Boston, Mass. 02111. And you want to do that within 30 days. And then when you get to that fair hearing, you want to present witnesses that will corroborate your story and disprove DCFs. You want to, during the investigation, write down the names of witnesses and documents that can prove your case and disprove what DCF's alleging against you. For example, your child may have been alleged to have been physically abused. You take the child to the doctor and you get the doctor's medical records and there's no marks or bruises. And it's really important to get witnesses. On a recent case, I had grandparents who were at the home right after the incident between mom and dad. Dad was claiming that mom was the aggressor. Now, dad was 6 feet, well over 200 pounds. Mom was 5 foot nothing and weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. If mom stood sideways, she'd mark her absent. Mom had bruises all over her body. We blew up the pictures, and it was just crazy. And yet the father had been drinking all day and all night and was completely intoxicated. Oh, and by the way, throw some whiskey in with that too. And there was all types of empty beer cans and also an empty whiskey bottle. And so the mother was completely sober. The mother was taking care of the baby at the time. And then all of a sudden they had an argument, and father got very violent. And the grandparents came right over right after the incident, were there when father was still there, intoxicated. Father couldn't even drive away from the residence. Why? Because he was intoxicated, and he had to have a friend come pick him up. With that said, DCF never spoke to the grandparents, never knew that the father was completely intoxicated, didn't take anything into account regarding the bruises or marks on the mother. So what we did was we had the grandparents do affidavits and statements and speak to DCF after the fact, and DCF took into account their story, much to DCF's credit, and the case was unsupported, overturned, and reversed. So the moral of the story is you have the affirmative duty to write down people that you think DCF should speak to. You have the affirmative duty to find out what documents are out there that can corroborate your story and disprove what's being alleged against you. And you only have yourself to fault to look in the mirror if you don't get the right information, the evidence before DCF in the fashion and the manner that should be done, under the right policy, protocols, and procedures. And you must understand, DCF wants to get it right as much as you want to have it reversed. Trust me on this one. And I know I've heard it many, many times, oh, DCF screwed me. You know, DCF did this, DCF did that. No, that wasn't the case at all. You screwed yourself. You were a big shot. You represented yourself. This was a slam dunk, you said. You knew what you were doing. No, you didn't. You're not a lawyer. You didn't go to law school. You don't know the policy, protocol, procedures. And what you did was you cheaped out. You didn't pay for a lawyer. And then when the decision came back and it was wrong because you were wrong. You get the right result when you hire the right lawyer to get the right thing done. And you can't go bitching, moaning, complaining like a seagull about DCF when you screw up. But people do, and they throw rocks at DCF screwed me. They didn't. They haven't. You got a bad decision because you made bad decisions.